Oh my God, I was on mute. That's funny. All right, you guys. So I guess nobody heard everything I was saying, but I was just saying that I am really, really excited to be here with you today live. You probably didn't hear the first 2 minutes, but today we're doing day 2 of our workshop, and I'm talking about creating packages. And it's one of my favorite topics. I love creating packages. In fact, one of the first things that I do with my clients is I schedule a 90-minute session where all we do is create their packages. And every amazing package has a few elements that are the same. So yesterday I explained to you how I had a mentor once who said there's no such thing as money problems, just idea problems. But you know what? I'm actually going to say that there's no such things as money problems, just packaging problems. And when you finally understand what it is that your ideal clients are looking for, it makes it so much easier for you to know what to deliver. Okay, so every single modern mystic, every digital marketer, expert, consultant needs to adopt the idea that I need to be an amazing offer ninja. What does that even mean? Okay, and um, you can't let that flare up your imposter syndrome. Okay, when you become an offer ninja, that just means that you know your craft so well and that you know the result that your ideal client is looking for so well that you are really willing to create something just for them. And so right now in the holidays, it's such a great opportunity. Yesterday, I gave you 5 different tips that you can use to create more cash flow right now before 2022. So so in order for you to do that, it's important for you to know how to create special packages that are going to get people's attention and give them results. So I see some of you joining us on here live. Hi everyone.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay. So the first thing I'm going to say, because I am going to get started and I want to talk about these 4 elements that every single amazing package has to have. I'm going to say this, and I want you to never forget this because this is so, so important. People don't necessarily value your time, they value their transformation. So when you finally understand this, it's going to give your packages a whole new edge. I see a lot of entrepreneurs, especially modern mystics, creating packages around their features and what it is that they do. When in reality, you know, they pick an hourly rate. They pick an hourly rate, for example, and they say, okay, well, my hour is worth, you know, $250. Okay, great. That's good. That's important to know because you need to understand more than anybody else what your time is worth. And when I first understood how much my time was worth, it really became like a filter for everything that went on my to-do list and on my calendar. So if unless it was profit driven, unless it was passion driven, and unless it was easy enough for me to do, like a log rolling off a log, that's kind of how I always think of it. It has to be as easy as a log rolling off a log. It doesn't go on my calendar. Okay. So once you understand, so knowing that hourly rate is really, really important. I've talked about it before in terms of knowing, thanks Simone, in terms of knowing how to calculate that hourly rate. But that's really, really important that you do. I go deeply into that inside the mastermind because it is a formula. And once you discover what your hourly rate is, then you start really becoming very selective, and you also start becoming very productive. So that's important. So, but again, you're not going to create your packages with your time. Well, yeah, you do have to create them and honor your time, but your ideal clients aren't necessarily concerned about your time. The only thing they are concerned about is their transformation. So at the end of the year, there are a lot of people out there. Let me admit these people in here. Admit. So at the end of the year, especially in November and December, everybody starts getting really excited. The holidays are here. Some people get depressed. Some people get anxiety. And a lot of people really, especially the people that you are helping, they're looking at their life right now and they are saying to themselves, gosh, I didn't do what I wanted to do at the beginning of the year. I didn't make the necessary changes. And I hate walking into the next year without at least doing something. So this is when it's really, really important for you to understand that you need to show up.
Then do it.
Okay. So I'm sorry, somebody is saying Simone can't hear. Wow, that's good. I came in just in time to
I mean,
great.
you can wear
Oh,
the
good,
camel
good, good.
with your tennis shoes.
Simone, I'm
You could
sorry, I
wear it
don't
with
know
your
why you
Doc
can't hear
Martens.
me,
You
babe.
could introduce the black to it. It'd be fine.
It might be something on your end because I'm not muted. So
But you don't have to.
yeah, just check that out. So so it's really, really important that you understand that a lot of you are delivering results that are very people are looking to overcome resistance, people that are overwhelmed, people that really need to plan better, people that are looking to quit certain addictions. So for them, if they have not done that right now by this time at this year, they are looking for you. So how can you create something? How can you show up in their feed more and create something that is just a no-brainer for them? Okay, so that's what we're talking about here. So I'm going to give you 4 tips that I usually share. And I mean, I can go way deeper into this, but this is an overall, and I really do believe that you can get started with something like this. The very first thing, like I said earlier, is that you need to understand, well, 5 tips really, you need to understand that that people value their transformation more than they value your time, which is really good news for you, right? Because that means that you can create that as long as you have their result in mind, ultimately, that's what matters. And they will pay more to get that result than what they would pay for your time. So let me know if that's making sense, because I know that a lot of you still work on a session per session basis. A good way to stop that is to just stop. Every time somebody messages you and says, can we just do one thing, you have to say, you know what, I can't give you the total results in just one thing. So that's one way that you can handle it. Okay, so let's just say that you are going to create a specific result, and you're gonna, for this result, it's not going to be one session. You actually need to create a series of sessions. So maybe it's 3 sessions. So the way you want to think about it is, and I have this amazing meditation visualization that I have. You have to really think about, like, imagine them finished with your program or with your session, already experiencing that amazing result, and then you work backwards. Okay, what did I have to teach first, second, and last? Okay, so that's what you always want to make sure you understand, what result they want to have, and that you're speaking their language. So really quickly, like, one of the very first things you have to think about when you're packaging your knowledge is you want to make sure that your packages are creating momentum for people. Okay, so this is where yesterday I talked a little bit about the VIP session. A VIP session is when somebody hires you to do an intensive. That intensive can be delivered via Zoom, or it could be delivered in person. I've done both. And if you're going to deliver something in person, you can even charge more, and you always have them fly to you. One thing that I've done before is I've done a VIP intensive, 7 full hours. You meet them, you book out a hotel room, not a room, but yeah, it could be a room, or it could be like a hotel. What do you call them? Like a presentation room. But for this, you have to be willing to charge what you're worth. I mean, you have to think about what I said at the beginning. what transformation are they getting? If somebody hired you for a VIP day to help them create their entire brand, then that's really powerful. So you can literally charge $2,500 and up. That's like they are paying for speed and attention. Okay, so that's at the top of the top. I mean, that's at the top of the pyramid here. So things like that that are really high end, you can definitely charge that much for. And I've also done one-on-one over Zoom. And what you do is you literally, and oh, the reason I was talking about VIPs, VIP days create momentum. Okay. I always offer my clients when they first join the mastermind a VIP intensive. It's not 7 hours or anything like that, but it is 90 minutes. And in those 90 minutes, we design an entire path and packages. And that's what we do. So why? Because that creates momentum. You know, they don't have to wonder if they have the right package. They don't have to do any of that. They literally sit down with me and we look at every single result they offer and we organize it. So again, you have to make sure that there's a way for you to create momentum. So some of the things that you can do, like I said, are like a VIP session or a seminar, a class. You can create checklists that help people gain momentum. You can have a special report, or even like, I think assessments really create momentum as well. I know that when I give my clients, my archetypal assessments, it really helps them understand things that they knew, but they didn't understand about themselves. And ultimately, when somebody understands something about themselves, it translates into their life and their business. So that's one thing. The other thing is you want to make sure that you include materials. Okay. So materials are anything from like a workbook to checklists to special trainings. And let me just say one thing. A lot of people think that they have to have an entire program created and uploaded, and that is actually the complete opposite of what needs to happen. What you need to have is you need to make sure that you have an outline of exactly what you're going to teach them. If it's going to be a 3-session package, then it's a 3-session package. If it's a 7-hour VIP day, it's like, what are you going to be teaching them, hour by hour? But more importantly, it's like these materials that you create them with thinking, you know what, how am I going to help them organize their thoughts, their feelings, or get things done faster? So everything has been created, right? So you can literally go on YouTube, and if you have enough time, you can research a lot of stuff and go down the rabbit hole. But the people that are going to be hiring you have already done that, and it takes a lot of time, a lot of energy, and there's a lot of BS out there. So you basically have to be able to see yourself as a curator, right? So if you found curated articles that support what you want to do or the result that you want to give your clients, it's okay to create those, to take those, and obviously you don't plagiarize, but you do curate them and say, you know what, here's a list of books that you can read. Here's a list of articles that pertain to this. So expertise. And obviously, anything that you create that from your imagination to help them get results faster and make it easier for them. People love checklists, workbooks. I mean, if you work with me, I have libraries of just templates and all kinds of stuff. So that's the second thing that you want to make sure that your packages offer. And then the next thing is like, how are you going to deliver the transformation and the information to them? Is there a way that you can have a private Facebook group community? Are you going to deliver it through email? Are you going to, again, like I said, a virtual VIP day or an in-person VIP day? What is the best way that's going to help your ideal clients? So I I think that's really important. One of the things that I started doing with the embodied leadership visibility bolt is I started noticing that I had so much information and that I really needed to deliver it in bite-sized pieces. So I started creating this email every single day where my clients don't even have to go into the portal. They'll just get their instructions for the day in an email. So that's an example of delivering something in a way that that is going to meet them where they're at, if that makes any sense. And let me know if this is making sense. Give me a heart if you're in the Facebook group, or if you have any questions right now while I'm here in Zoom Live. Let me see more notes here. Oh, and then my last one. You want to make sure that you also offer them bonuses, and that your bonuses are really tapping into the struggles that they have, or the struggles that they think they're going to have. Bonuses are really important. And I love playing around with my bonuses. Every time I open up enrollment, I have new bonuses. I've tried everything from obviously like discounts to having Sonia, who is an amazing astrologer and human design expert, create, entire reports for my clients, to now I've actually hired a breathwork instructor to join my entire team and show up once every single week to do breathwork with my clients. So these are examples of bonuses, and the way that I see them is that, what else can I do to help them? What else can I do to help them overcome the old stories, the all of the negative stuff? So does that make sense for everyone? Now I have, let me see, let me read in the chat here. I do that. You're so funny, Barbara. They can also be done on Voxer. Yeah, I love that. Voxer is great. Also, Slack is great. If you want to, that's a great thing to actually list out, but you want to make sure that you note that in the bonuses section as a bonus, because a lot of people don't do that. So those are the things that you want to take into account when you're creating your packages. So again, understand that it's not about your time, it's about their transformation. Understand that they want momentum. So what can you create for momentum? And how are you going to deliver that? What kind of bonuses are you going to include? And then the last thing also, or something else aside, is make sure you talk about it. If you are, most of you in here have already purchased your signature show. If you have your show, you want to make sure that you are talking about your offers. The biggest reason that people don't get sales is because they don't talk about their offers. And that really goes back to a mindset thing. People want to be modest. They want to, they have this, they don't want to, brag about themselves. And it's not really about bragging about yourself. It's really more about like letting people know that you understand them. Okay. When somebody feels understood, when somebody feels heard and seen, there's going to be an instant connection there, if that makes any sense. So that's really important. And then the other thing to kind of think of in terms of visibility is that most likely people know that you're an entrepreneur, so they're going to expect this from you. So it's more weird that you show up and never talk about your offers than if you actually show up and talk about your offers, if that makes sense. So people expect you to talk about your offers. They know you're an entrepreneur. If they don't know you're an entrepreneur, it's probably because you're still in the closet. And, as far as, oh my God, how am I going to come out, and be this woo woo when nobody's ever really known me that way? And you're thinking about your friends and your family, but, your friends and your family are really not going to be your ideal clients. And if you're just launching, you're probably thinking, gosh, why don't they support me? Why does no one purchase from me? Or, you can help them. but people don't buy from you because you can help them. They have to know that they need help. And a lot of times we create these packages based on what we know is going to help them, when in reality, it's not about that. It's about what they know they need help with. So they need to know. I always tell my clients, it needs to be so clear for them, kind of like if you're flowing down a river, like what you are solving for them is going downstream, not upstream. Okay. They understand. You're not re-educating them to you're not re-educating them to understand that they need you. Okay. So that's what I have. I hope that is helpful. I would love to open this up to Q&As for the next 7 or 8 minutes. Who in here has any questions, or if you need any ideas? Oh, the last thing I'll say, I can talk about this for hours, is the name of your program or your package is really, 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 really important. Okay. So sometimes it's all about the name. So make sure that the name you have is really kick-ass. And that's really, really important. So, okay, so I'm opening it up to Q&As. And sorry, I got a little distracted because my dog did something upstairs and my husband is yelling at her. So who has a question? Anything at all? Hey guys, I see, I'm looking at the Facebook. No questions. Laura says, I actually do a whole VIP day over Voxer. Coach in your pocket. Oh, that's really cool. I love that. It's a great idea. Great idea. And says, poor Lucky. I know. Yeah, she just got yelled at. And so, all right. So that's all I have for you today. Tomorrow, I'm actually I'm going to talk about sales, because sales is one of my favorite things to talk about. I used to be a salesperson and coach salespeople back in the day. So for any of you that don't really know my background, I became a coach when I was 25 years old. I am now about to be 42. And I just kind of after college, I fell into this business. And Laura, I know that you were in a similar business too, where I went door to door and sold phone service. And then I was really good at it. So I became a trainer. And then eventually I had a contract with Intuit and QuickBooks, TurboTax. And I ran an entire 2 territories for them and coached people how to do it. So it's really about being a people person and understanding people. So I hear a lot of people sometimes say things like, I hate sales, I want to break out in rashes, like they just don't want it. I can't wait to outsource sales. And I think sales are actually pretty fun and transformative. It's an opportunity to really understand your messaging and to understand your ideal clients. As long as you develop enough confidence without ego. And look at me now, I'm going already into it. So I'm going to actually talk about that tomorrow. So I will see you all tomorrow if there are no other questions. Otherwise, I do have another 5 minutes here. And, oh, okay. Hello.
Hi.
Parkinson Association.
Sorry.
Hi. Feel free to unmute yourself. I can't hear you.
Let's see. Let me see.
Oh, it's because oh my goodness. So my volume to my computer was actually down. So I don't know if you guys were asking a question or not then. Hello.
Hi. My name is actually Leslie Sack.
Hi, Leslie.
And I teach people with Parkinson's how to move their bodies. And
Awesome.
it's a movement program I've designed. And I also teach ballroom dance to people with Parkinson's and anybody else who wants to. And my idea is to do the 5 love languages and use ballroom dance as a way to convey that connection And so
I love that.
I'm just working on because like the image of ballroom dance is so different than the way I approach it because I've done this for 25 years and I've also done life coaching training. So I guess my question is, I'm wondering like where to lead from. Do you lead from the problem first or do you lead with the solution?
That's a really good question. So some people lead from problem, some people lead from solution, and it's really about what it is that you do. Um, I like to do a little bit of both. That's why it's really important you understand that most people, though, I'll tell you this, most people are more aware about their problem than what they want. So, as I said a little while ago, you have to create something that they want, not what you know they need, but what they want, because because they're more aware of what they don't want. But somewhere in there, if you speak their what they don't want, their pain points, you can lead them down the path and show them a solution that eventually they're like, oh yeah, and that's why it feels like you're swimming downstream. Leslie, does that make sense?
Yeah, that does. Yeah. And I guess for me, it's always the like I don't really like to talk to people. What do you really want? I mean, like just to have those conversations of like what are pain points and
Well, and that's really
struggle with
interesting
that.
that you
That's where I
said
get
that, because I'm
stuck.
gonna I'm gonna talk about this tomorrow more, but that's why it's so powerful to actually do sales calls and to use your tools and to get into action fast.
Mhm.
Because, for example, when somebody sets up an appointment to speak to me to have a discovery call, I have I have a screening process, and so I really want to understand where they're coming from. So I before we ever even get on a phone call, they've already told me some of their struggles. So that way I'm prepared. I know whether I can help them or not. And I know how long the conversation should last and that kind of thing. So that's a really good way to collect data. The other really good way to collect data is if you have a Facebook group, and you have an entry point, obviously you have questions that you can ask them, and I get amazing insight from that. When people come to my Facebook group because they usually bought a product from me, so then they answer those questions, and now I know better and I'm better prepared. So I always have people like complimenting me on, oh my god, I love your messaging, like I just felt like you were speaking right to me. Well, it's because I am. Because I know what and then if you get into enough momentum and you really work with enough people, like you just realize what their issues usually are. So it's tricky before any of that happens, right? When you're just getting started. But I bet you know a lot more. It's just all up here. I mean, you've been doing this for 20 years, so.
Yeah, it's just such a normally, yeah, that's my problem is going from brick and mortar to online and thinking, I mean, I've never had to market myself because it's all word of mouth. And so it's all new.
But
So
that's great. I mean, I have clients that have come to me when all they had were word of mouth clients and they had a ton of word of mouth business. And once they actually developed a system and added some tech to it, their business goes from 100,000 to 300,000. But it's great that you already have that foundation of, having your referrals, and that's what happens when you're good. You get referrals. So
thank you. It's
um,
really helpful. Thanks a lot for
you're
your
welcome.
ideas and
It's my
beautiful.
pleasure.
You're fabulous. You're fabulous. Thanks.
Aw, thank you. Thank you. So are you. So tomorrow I will see you all back here. In fact, I have to get on another call today. So I have to cut it a little bit short today, but I am super excited to share with you all these sales ideas and mindsets and ways to overcome your resistance to sales and to really start closing more clients and serving people at a higher, at a higher level. So I will see you all tomorrow, same time. And I'll do all kinds of Q&As tomorrow. So if you have any questions, if I were you, I would go and try to create some sort of cool package. And if you want to run it by me tomorrow, I'm all yours. All right. Have an amazing rest of your day, you guys. Mwah. Bye.